is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
It is 5 o'clock here on your Wednesday morning. Good morning to you. I'm Lauren Casey.
Lauren, good morning to you as well. I'm Rafael Sanchez. Here are your headlines on this August the 5th.
So the biggest thing that I've heard from parents is that I'm not the teacher.
Back to school for thousands of Central Indiana students means back to remote learning. This morning, how one local company is helping parents survive.
Many Americans are facing evictions as stimulus aid money begins to run dry. We'll have the latest from Washington on a potential deal that could help keep people in their homes.
And it's been nearly 3 months since the IMPD shooting of Drejon Reed, and his family still has many questions they want answered. This morning, what Drejon's mother is now demanding.
But first, we want to thank you for joining our team here on Good Morning Indiana. Rafael, thanks for joining us from down in Johnson County. Alyssa and I were saying, wow, what a great day in the forecast we had yesterday.
Well, you know how we gave Alyssa a nickname earlier in the week? We called her AD, right, for Alyssa Donovan.
Yes.
And this morning, the AD will stand for accurate and delivered, because yet again, she was accurate and delivered yesterday on a great forecast. So, Alyssa, way to go.
Ooh, I like that. You know what? Make sure you tell our bosses about that one. How about you? And you know what? I hope today is accurate, too. I think it will be. We're going to see very similar conditions, starting with those temperatures a little bit cooler than what we saw yesterday to start in the mid-50s. So you'll notice that as you step outside, especially areas to the north where we're actually seeing those temperatures fall a little bit more. And that's just because that cooler air that was previously just northwest of Indiana has sunk down into Indiana and across the Midwest. So we are seeing those temperatures cooler to start. 55 today, could drop a couple degrees just yet, and that's because we have those clear skies right now. We've had those overnight, helping us cool down with those temperatures. As we start our day, those clear skies are going to make a great start to our day. Plenty of sunshine to start. As we head into the afternoon, that's when we're going to see a little bit more cloud coverage, but nothing that will ruin any outdoor plans. We're going to continue to see those temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 70s, just depending on how much sunshine we see. Expected to be right around 77 degrees for our daytime high.
Alyssa, thanks. Let's take a look right now at traffic as you're heading out on the roads. This is a look on the north side from our INDOT traffic camera at I-465 of you near Ditch Road, where everything is picking up, traveling up to speed, both eastbound and westbound on your interstate. We'll continue to keep you updated if there are any areas you need to avoid. Rafael.
Lauren, this morning, the mother of Drejon Reed will hold a news conference. She's asking that her son's autopsy be released right now. It's been nearly 3 months since Reed was shot and killed by IMPD officer DeJour Mercer. IMPD claims that Reed fired a weapon at Officer Mercer, who then exchanged gunfire, fatally wounding Reed. Now, Reed's legal team claims a 21-year-old did not fire a weapon at the officer, though a weapon was found by his body. The special prosecutor on this case has stopped the release of the autopsy to protect the ongoing investigation. Look for updates on this case today, both on air as well as on the RTV6 app.
Rafael, thank you. And scenes like this are what we'd usually see on National Night Out. The annual event encourages police and community members to get together under positive circumstances. Instead of canceling this year due to the pandemic, many law enforcement agencies, they got creative. Last night, Whitestown police officers drove through neighborhoods, waving to families from a safe distance. And residents say it's important to maintain those community connections.
I thought it was really cool that they did that instead of having a parade, so then people could still experience something fun.
Especially not being able to go into schools like we normally do, and just with this whole social distancing thing that we're trying to be a leader in the community to enforce. Seeing all the kids out, I mean, I know it touched every officer's heart and just made us feel that much more welcome, and really just reassured us that not only the kids but the community as a whole has our back.
Some communities and law enforcement agencies are rescheduling their National Night Out events to October 6th.
Relations between the public and police, key to the ongoing dialogue. And we want to be part of that discussion and continue that key conversation. So every Tuesday this month, RTV6 and Radio 1 will host a discussion exploring racial issues right here in Central Indiana. On the 11th, the panelists will talk about the current racial climate in our community. The discussion starts at 5 p.m. on the RTV6 Facebook page.
Well, now to the latest on the coronavirus numbers from the State Department of Health. There's been an increase in the number of new COVID-19 cases and deaths. 836 new COVID-19 cases were reported between Wednesday of last week and Monday. That's 254 more new cases than the state reported yesterday. The Department of Health says that 9,567 more people have recently been tested for the coronavirus, an increase of more than 3,000. Now, since March, more than 785,000 Hoosiers have been tested for COVID-19. 8.8% of those tests are coming back positive. 14 new coronavirus deaths were also reported. So far, 2,794 people in Indiana have died from COVID-19.
You know, those numbers are eye-opening, and so are these. As we continue to deal with the pandemic, many Hoosiers and Americans really across our country are also struggling financially. A stimulus aid is running dry, but lawmakers are getting close to reaching a deal on the next aid package. The White House has now agreed to extend a moratorium on evictions through the end of the year. This for federally subsidized housing, which applies to about 12 million renters. Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin is hopeful that Democrats and Republicans will reach an agreement on the other aid by the end of the week. If this happens, it would mean a vote by the end of next week. Another big change for the Indy 500, the 104th running, will not have any fans in the stands, which is a major disappointment for thousands of people. The race is still for August the 23rd, Lauren.
That's right. A big news yesterday. And if you have tickets, you will be given a credit for next year's race. Indianapolis Motor Speedway says the number of coronavirus cases in Marion County has tripled since June 26th. That's when it was announced capacity for the race would be restricted to 25%. In the same amount of time, the positivity rate has doubled. That led to a difficult decision to close this year's race to fans. RTV6 Sports Director Dave First talked to the president of Penske Entertainment about this reversal.
It's an agonizing decision, I know Doug would say, from the perspective of delivering for our fans and all the work that's gone into this, but it was a pretty easy decision based on the data, and we always said we'd make the decision based on the data.
Race fans will be able to catch the action on TV as there is no blackout this year for our area, but the lack of spectators will likely have a major impact on businesses in Speedway. The owner of Dawson's on Main says that he hopes fans will still come out on race day to support local businesses.
We've been here for 15 years, and obviously we look forward to May every year, and this year we were looking forward to August.
Well, the town of Speedway released a statement encouraging people to support local businesses that may be impacted by that big change. As you're heading out the door this morning, let's get a check of our forecast with Alyssa Donovan.
Hey, it is going to be a really nice day. We're starting a little bit cool this morning. We're starting with our temperatures in the 50s. So you'll notice that change when you step outside. Typically we're in the 60s this time of year, and typically we have a little bit humid air in the forecast. So you're going to notice that big change. Low humidity today. By the noon hour, we'll be into the upper 60s, and we are going to start with plenty of sunshine in the forecast. Sunny skies to start your day, and then we will see a little bit more cloud coverage as we head into the afternoon, which could prevent us from climbing too high with those temperatures. But as it stands right now, expected to be in the mid to upper 70s. If those clouds hold out a little later in the afternoon, we could continue to climb even higher than that. Overall, though, it is going to be a gorgeous day, one you're going to want to spend outside for some part of it at least. You're watching Good Morning Indiana. We'll be right back.
The time right now is 5:11. Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. Here's a live look at your commute over on the east side, I-465 and I-70, where everything's traveling up to speed. No crashes to slow you down at this point. So new clues in the explosion that rocked Beirut, Lebanon. At least 100 people are dead, and that number is expected to rise. And now the country's prime minister says a highly explosive compound may be to blame. As the sun rose, the scale of destruction came to light. A new video showing the blast site. ABC's Rena Roy has the latest.
This morning, new details on what possibly caused this massive explosion in Beirut. The prime minister saying overnight that a warehouse at the city's port was storing 2,700 tons of confiscated ammonium nitrate, the same explosive compound used in the Oklahoma City bombing. The prime minister also claims the chemical was there for 6 years with no safety measures in place. Authorities in Lebanon are not saying whether the detonation was intentional, only saying those responsible will be held accountable.
We have a very good relationship with the people of Lebanon, and we will be there to help.
But President Trump Tuesday night calling the explosion an attack.
I've met with some of our great generals, and they just seem to feel that it was.
Before the explosion, video shows a fire and a series of smaller detonations. The devastating blast sending a mushroom cloud across the city. The sides of buildings ripped off, cars, shops, and apartments shattered. This video shows the explosion tearing a church apart as a priest was giving a mass online. The blast striking with the force of a 3.5 magnitude earthquake. People reported hearing the explosion on the island of Cyprus across the Mediterranean Sea, 150 miles away. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
Back here at home, tropical storm Isaias just roared up along the East Coast, leaving behind a trail of destruction. And it is not over yet, as flooding now remains a major problem caused by this storm. This morning, there are nearly 4 million people reporting power outages along the East Coast. ABC News cameras captured the moment that a sparking power line exploded during a live interview, and the storm now being blamed for at least 6 deaths. In Maryland, a fatal accident when a tree fell onto a vehicle. In Queens, New York, 1 man died after being crushed in his truck by a fallen tree. And in North Carolina, 2 people killed after a tornado slammed into a neighborhood. Crews are now working to restore power. Cleanup efforts will likely take some time.
Now out to California, where the Apple fire continues to burn near Los Angeles. Firefighters are trying to gain control of the region's first major wildfire of the season. At least 1 home and 2 buildings have been destroyed. Fire investigators say the fire was sparked on Friday by a malfunctioning diesel vehicle. That vehicle emitted burning carbon from its exhaust, which then lit the dry brush on fire. This morning, there is hope, and the slight dip in temperatures and an increase in humidity could help firefighters. Right now, officials say it's only 7% contained. Back here at home, though, we're experiencing a cooler morning in the forecast. Let's check in with Elizabeth Donovan.
They're building in that humidity, and we are seeing it subside. We are seeing very low humidity in our forecast, and that's partially due to that cooler air coming in from the north. So we are under this northwesterly flow that's helping usher that cooler air right down into Indiana this morning. So our temperatures have fallen about 10 degrees across central Indiana, 12 degrees to the north. So we are seeing a bit of a cooler start today. It's not going to feel cold outside, but it is going to feel cooler than we typically would feel this time of year, especially because that lack of humidity in the forecast. It's 55 to start in Indianapolis right now, 50 to the north around Peru, and I suspect we're going to drop maybe a couple degrees yet this morning, and that's partially due to those clear skies that we've had overnight. We're going to continue to see clear skies this morning, so we don't have those clouds to insulate us from that cooler and drier air that is moving into the area. As we start our day, it's going to be a gorgeous start. Plenty of sunshine, calm winds, and that lack of humidity. It's just going to be a comfortable day outside. And then as we head into the afternoon, we will start to see just a little bit more cloud coverage moving into the area today. So you'll notice that by the afternoon. Don't cancel any plans. We're not expecting precipitation, just a little bit more cloud coverage later today. The only thing that will impact is the potential to climb a little bit more with those temperatures. So if we see those clouds a little earlier in the day, then we won't climb quite as warm. Whereas if we see them later in the day, then we'll see those temperatures climb a little bit more. But as it stands right now, today's high is expected to be right around 77 in Indianapolis, a little cooler to the north and about the same to the south, with those clouds increasing by the afternoon. Now, I want to show you our muggy meter, because right now we are in that comfy range, but that's going to change. Tomorrow we'll be comfortable as well, and fairly comfortable into Friday, but then we have that humidity increasing as we head into the weekend and into into Monday. That's when we are going to see that potential of showers and storms back in the forecast starting on Sunday. So Saturday, a little bit muggy outside, still going to be a fairly nice day with sunshine. And then we are going to see those showers and thunderstorm chances increase Saturday night and into Sunday. So we do have some changes on the way. Get outside and enjoy today because it's really going to be a good one. 77 below normal with those temperatures today. Those clouds increase this afternoon. Mostly sunny Thursday and Friday, and you can see those temperatures increase a little bit each day. That's partially due to that sunshine and partially due to some of that humidity starting to creep into the forecast. And then staying sunny on Saturday. Those showers and storms move in late Saturday into Sunday, sticking with us the start of next week.
All right, Alyssa, thanks so much. Let's take a look at traffic. This is south of the downtown area, I-65 at Keystone Avenue. Now, our camera's frozen up just a little bit here, but I have a lot to tell you about if you're traveling through this area. We have that major traffic shift in the northbound side over to the southbound lanes. That has been going on for over a month now, but this morning as you're traveling through the area, the northbound lanes are back on the northbound side, so a lot less of a curve there you'll have to take, so that's good news. However, drivers heading southbound this morning, you may run into an issue. We do have a large pothole reported now in the right lane of southbound I-65 at Keystone Avenue. That's an update from just about the past 5 minutes or so, so crews are aware of that. I think you can see it in the right corner of your screen. So we already have some lane restrictions in that area, so just take it slow as you're leaving downtown, heading to the south side. Of course, we'll monitor this and keep you updated this morning.
Another reminder this morning, Lauren, to slow down in school zones because another one of the Marion County's biggest school districts is welcoming students back. And as we've talked a lot this week, Lauren, some of those students will either go back to school buildings or they'll learn right from their home through remote learning.
Yeah, and we know remote learning, Raphael, can be tricky for all parties involved. And so this morning, our Kelsey Anderson is joining us live with tips from a tutor on how you can help your child thrive in this new normal. Hey, Kelsey.
Hey, good morning. So students here at Southport High School will be entering the building for the first time in months. In Perry Township schools, they're operating on that hybrid model, meaning some days kids will be in the classroom and some days they'll be home. And so we spoke to a tutor who says that while virtual learning may be the safer option in a pandemic, it's also a headache for many students and their parents. Michaela Rice has taught every age group from K through 12 and even college classes and knows from experience that a computer at home can't replace a teacher in the classroom. When it comes to school at home, Rice says the key to success is making sure home feels like school.
If the space is not conducive to learning, I can't learn. So that means if it's noisy, I can't learn. If it's too cold, I can't learn.
Rice says the computer itself won't be anything new to most students, as many of them already do a lot of their schoolwork on a computer. She stresses it is the environment that makes a difference, especially for younger students. She encourages parents to think about messages and tools on the wall of a classroom and put those on display at home, whether the learning takes place in a classroom or at the kitchen table. This classroom teacher and at-home tutor advises families to keep a routine. So she recommends you get up every morning, brush your teeth, have breakfast, get dressed, even if that means getting in your school uniform. She says just make it seem the most like school as possible. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, RTV 6.
Kelsey, thank you so much. And for more on how Hoosier kids are getting safely back to school, join us Thursday night for an RTV 6 special. We're asking lawmakers how they plan to hold schools accountable, finding out what you can expect if your child is returning to the classroom, and much, much more. Again, that's tomorrow at 7:30, only right here on RTV 6.
It is 5:21. We know disinfectant wipes, they've been really hard to find, and it's likely going to stay that way well into 2021. Not the news you want to hear. That's according to the world's biggest maker of disinfectant cleaning materials, Clorox. It has 45% of the market share. Clorox says it aggressively ramped up production, but that still won't be enough to keep up with this growing demand.
So Lauren, listen up. Kraft mac and cheese isn't just for dinner anymore. No, Lauren, so many recipes for you, me, Todd, and Alyssa, and Kelsey. After the break, why the company is dabbling into the breakfast market.
Okay, I'm listening. Well, more central Indiana school districts are dealing with cases of COVID-19. Just ahead here on Good Morning Indiana, we'll have the details on where the latest cases are. It's 5:22. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. So it's the cheesiest, and now it's for breakfast. Kraft's iconic yellow elbows getting an early bird upgrade, Raphael.
And so for us early risers, this is possible because I think we'll have lunch around 7:30 this morning.
Right, that's totally
But
normal.
we'll see, right? That's normal for us. But for the first time, the iconic blue mac and cheese packaging will be rebranded with breakfast messaging. And this is why. According to the company, 56% of parents have served their children mac and cheese for breakfast more often during the pandemic. So to celebrate, Kraft is now doing a giveaway. Every time, Lauren, that you tweet hashtag KMC for breakfast all together or hashtag sweepstakes, you'll be entered to win one of the limited edition Kraft breakfast boxes plus a swag bag. And that's interesting and that's good. But here's the good part. For each entry, Kraft will donate 10 boxes of their mac and cheese to feed the children. So it's all worth it for that donation. So I think go ahead and do it. Let's feed the children.
Well, Alyssa and I do not judge breakfast choices here when you wake up this
especially
early.
not during the pandemic. I mean, I feel like parents are probably
goes.
like, whatever you want right now, you know, I need to get some work done.
Yeah.
If you want mac and cheese for breakfast or ice cream for breakfast,
Go crazy.
Yeah, I bet we could take that poll with a lot of different foods right now. I know I've had some weird things for breakfast during the pandemic as well. Today, you might want to spend breakfast outside. Do it al fresco because we are going to see some nice conditions to start our day. Cooler start today with those temperatures starting in the 50s and low 60s. We'll be right around 70 degrees by the noon hour. These pleasant conditions sticking with us for much of the forecast. We'll have more on that coming up. You're watching Good Morning Indiana. We'll be right back.
This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Thousands of Marion County students will start the school year later this morning, some online, some others in the classroom. Working for you, we're live with tips to help your students thrive while they're learning at home.
And as coronavirus cases continue to rise, Central Indiana school districts are feeling the impact in real time. This morning, what school leaders say is being done to keep students and staff safe. Welcome to Good Morning Indiana on this Wednesday, August the 5th. Lauren, good morning to you. I'm wondering, Lauren, is it okay to say the word sweater in August? Because I'm confused.
I know. It's a little bit confusing, and I'm normally one who likes the summer heat, but I don't know, in my older age, I think I like the cooler weather I've been enjoying the past couple days.
Wait. Did you just say, wait, hold on.
For old age, that's right. She did say that. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Okay,
now I kind of like the cool August, Alyssa, and we have another day of that today.
Yeah, it's nice. I don't know about your old age, Lauren, but I agree with you on the temperatures that we're seeing today and that low humidity. We've really seen that cooler air settle into the Midwest, was up around northwest areas yesterday, and it has settled in. We've dropped about 8 degrees with our temperature from yesterday morning to today, so 24-hour temperature change, pretty significant. You'll notice it when you step outside today. 55 right now in Indianapolis, so at this time yesterday we were closer to 65 degrees, which is right about where we should be this time of year with those morning lows. So cooler today, even cooler to the north. I suspect there's some 49 degree temperatures in there as well with those cooler air masses in place. As we head through the day today, we're starting with those clear skies this morning. That's why we are seeing those temperatures so cool to start. We haven't had those clouds to insulate us from that cooler and drier air that's being filtered in from the north with that northwest wind and flow. As we head through the day, going to start seeing a little bit more cloud coverage this afternoon, but the first half only sunshine for us. So we're going to warm up very quickly from 57 at 8 a.m. to 70 degrees at the noon hour, and then we'll slow down with that warming trend. If we see those clouds a little later in the day, if they shift a little bit, then we could see those highs even warmer. But as it stands right now, expected to be right around 77 degrees for our daytime high.
All right, Alyssa, thanks so much. Let's take a look here at traffic. Now, our camera's been freezing up a little bit at I-65 in Keystone. zone, but I do want to show you this spot. Sort of the center right of your screen, you can see a police cruiser there on the screen blocking off the right lane of traffic. This is in the southbound side. We have a report of a large pothole in the road there, so they've been working on that this morning. That's part of a major construction project in this zone where we have the northbound side. Less of a traffic shift today. That has moved back to the northbound side of the interstate this morning. Southbound side still restricted a little bit, and you're going to have that extra lane closure. So just use caution as you're traveling south of the downtown area and through this active construction zone. We'll continue to keep an eye on that as well as other construction projects around our area. We'll keep you updated on any delays this morning. Raphael.
And now to the latest on the COVID-19 outbreak in our state as the number of deaths and cases simply continue to rise. The State Department of Health confirmed 14 new deaths, more than tripling the number reported on Monday. That brings the death total now to nearly 2,800 Hoosiers. 836 new cases were also reported, bringing the state's total to more than 69,000. Of those, 15,000 are in Marion County. More than 785,000 Hoosiers have been tested so far.
More central Indiana school districts are dealing with cases of COVID-19 in their schools. Brownsburg Community Schools confirming one case at their high school. The district did not publicly announce if the person who tested positive is a student or staff member. Officials say those who have had close contact with that individual are being notified. The district says the areas where the individual was have already been sanitized. And a second staff member at Avon High School has tested positive. Now, unlike the first case there, this person had been in the school building, and they may have had some close contact with some students. So those people were all notified separately and given guidance from the health department on their next steps. One parent asked not to be identified, and she tells RTV6 that there's a lack of accountability for keeping students and staff safe.
The health department says, we leave that up to the school officials. You contact the school officials and they say, well, we're going off the guidance of the health department. So as a parent, I really don't know what it is. So it seems like somebody bigger, like the governor, needs to step in and give some clear explanation and understanding, help us understand who's making these decisions and why when it's our children.
Well, we spoke to the president of the Avon Federation of Teachers as well. She's afraid more students and staff will test positive in the coming days and weeks.
We have English and world language classes that are at least 30 kids, so we are sitting elbow to elbow as if it's business as usual. And we are armed with masks and some kitchen cleaner and some hand sanitizer, and that is it.
Well, Susie Lebo says there is no clear guidance from the district or health department on what additional steps are being taken to keep the community safe or when a full shutdown would happen. The district leaders declined an interview request. We also reached out to the health department and we're waiting to hear back.
This morning, watch out for more school buses on the south side of Indianapolis. Perry Township begins a new school year with a new plan for its staff as well as all of its students. Our Kelsey Anderson joins us live this morning outside of Southport High School with advice for families now facing remote learning. Kelsey, good morning to you.
Hey, good morning, Raphael. So half the students at Southport High School will be entering the building for the first time in months. The school is operating on a hybrid schedule, meaning half the kids will be in the classroom and half the kids will be learning virtually, and they'll kind of just switch off throughout this first semester. So while learning from home might be safe, and no doubt it's still a headache for many families, Michaela Rice has taught every age group from K through 12 and even college classes, and knows from experience that a computer at home can't replace a teacher in the classroom. Whether the learning takes place whether the learning takes place in the classroom or at the kitchen table, this classroom teacher and at-home tutor advises families to keep a routine.
Put your clothes on. If you wore a uniform, put your uniform on. If you wore regular clothes, put your clothes on. Brush your teeth, have breakfast, have recess, and most of all, breathe.
Rice says the computer itself won't be anything new to most students, as many of them already do a lot of their schoolwork on computers. She stresses it is the environment that makes the difference, especially for younger students. She encourages parents to think about the messages and tools on the wall of a classroom and put those on display at home. Now, again, Rice says it's important to make this feel as normal as possible, so make sure that your child does have a dedicated learning space at home. That way, when they're in that area, it feels like they're ready to learn. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, RTV 6.
Kelsey, thank you. It is 5:37. Indiana's American Federation of Teachers says it supports a strike if schools cannot reopen safely. The union said in a press conference that it is backing the national union's resolution to ensure the safety of teachers and students. They represent around 4,500 educators statewide. They called for schools to only open in person if COVID-19 cases are kept under control, if teachers and staff are given adequate PPE and necessary resources like cleaning products. This morning, the union's president says there's no current plan to strike, but it is monitoring the reopenings day by day. And join us tomorrow night for an RTV6 special, taking a look at how Hoosier kids are heading safely back to school. We're asking lawmakers what they're doing to hold schools accountable, finding out what you can expect if your child is returning to the classroom, and much more. That's tomorrow, again at 7:30 p.m., only here on RTV6.
So let's take a big view on this issue. More than 4.7 million Americans have been infected with the coronavirus, while more than a dozen states are seeing a rise in cases. ABC's Rena Roy reports on what's been a shaky start for the school year across the country.
With 15 states plus Puerto Rico seeing a rise in coronavirus cases, some are extending restrictions. Louisiana pausing reopening plans. Mississippi's governor issuing a 2-week statewide mask mandate and new rules for students and teachers. The state currently has the highest infection rate in the country, with 98% of ICU beds filled.
Anytime a bed opens up, there are multiple patients waiting for that bed.
One of the virus's latest victims, teacher Kimberly Lopez Bird, who worked at a school in eastern Arizona. Her superintendent concerned about reopening classrooms.
I'm scared that somebody's going to die.
In Phoenix, some educators even protesting against reopening.
How do we keep them 6 feet apart? And how do we keep them safe from each other?
A second-grade classroom in Georgia shut down just 2 days after reopening because a student tested positive. Outside Atlanta, hundreds of teachers out sick.
I'm a bit concerned. I heard on the first day, half of the children are wearing their mask, the other half doesn't.
Meantime, President Trump is accused of downplaying the current state of the virus in an interview with Axios on HBO.
They are dying. That's true. And it is what it is.
Former Vice President Joe Biden out with a new campaign video calling out the president's remarks.
It is what it is.
As for relief for Americans struggling financially, Congress hopes to have an agreement on a stimulus deal by the end of this week. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
It is 5:40. A man convicted of murdering an IU student will not be getting out of prison or getting a new trial. The U.S. Court of Appeals overturned a lower court's decision to release John Myers. He's serving a 65-year prison sentence for the murder of 19-year-old Jill Bierman. Myers' attorneys argued that his trial lawyer did a poor job representing him. The appeals court agreed the lawyer was deficient, but said the state's case against Myers was too strong to overturn the verdict. Bierman disappeared in May of 2000, and her remains were found 3 years later.
Lauren, this morning, Indiana State Police is the target of a new lawsuit from the ACLU. The suit is on behalf of protesters at last month's executions at the federal prison in Terre Haute. The lawsuit says that state troopers kept protesters nearly 2 miles away from the prison, which they say violates protesters' First Amendment rights. The lawsuit requests the federal court in Indianapolis to allow protesters to gather immediately outside of the main entrance of that federal prison. A spokesman for the Indiana State Police said it is their policy not to comment on pending litigation. Time now to check your forecast. And yes, it is August, but Alyssa Donovan, are you sure it's not April?
I know, it feels like it outside, and I think that's a welcome change for some people. I like it when it's like this outside. Temperatures are a little cool today to start. We're in the mid-50s. That's about 10 degrees below average, and that's all due to this northwest flow that we're under. That's helping usher in some cooler air. Now, as we head through the day, we are going to see plenty of clear skies and sunshine to start, which is going to help us warm very quickly. By the noon hour, we'll be into the low 70s. By the afternoon, that's when we'll start to see a little bit more cloud coverage. As that increases, our chances of warming up will decrease a little bit as well. So expecting to be in the mid to upper 70s today. We'll continue to climb a little bit each day in the forecast. 79 tomorrow, continuing to see that sunny and low humid conditions tomorrow. Humidity will build back into the forecast as we head into the weekend.
Alyssa, thank you so much. As the pandemic continues, there's more discussion around different protective gear. Still ahead, health experts give their thoughts on whether face shields protect you better. Lauren?
And Rafael, controversy surrounding TikTok continues this morning. A little bit later, why a new lawsuit says that social media app is putting your child's information at risk. It's 5:43. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. The conversation about wearing protective gear is really expanding, in particular, the discussion over face shields. You see, teachers recently asked the top infectious disease expert, Dr. Anthony Fauci, about them. He said that they're not a bad idea, but they should not be worn in place of a mask. Experts say there isn't a lot of research on how protective the face shields may be. One study showed that it reduces the number of inhaled droplets. But unlike cloth masks, it may not protect others as well. If you do wear a face shield, you should follow these guidelines.
It's important that it's long enough to really protect the whole face and that it wraps around fully and that it fits well up at the forehead.
Companies like Apple and Nike, GM, and John Deere have all started producing face shields. Face shields do have some advantages over masks. They can be reused indefinitely, they are easier to clean, and they help prevent touching of the face.
This morning, the added threat of the coronavirus has health officials pushing Americans to get their flu shots. Earlier this year, the flu shots will start being available at doctors' offices, pharmacies, and supermarkets by early next month. Health experts also say it's a good idea to get it early because there may also be some added obstacles this year. People who usually get the shot at the office may be working from home, and those who get it from the doctor may have a longer wait time for an appointment.
The Census Bureau is cutting its efforts short for the 2020 survey. Now, this comes after a call from the president to do so. Americans now have until the end of September to respond to the census instead of originally planning to the end of October. The Bureau says that it can meet the end of the year deadlines to redraw congressional districts. Researchers and politicians worry that the new deadline could affect accuracy of that head count. And every morning we count on the Storm Team 6 forecast. And this morning, our Alyssa Donovan is filling in for Todd Clausen. Good morning, Alyssa.
Good morning, Rafael. And I have a great forecast to give today. Very similar to the setup we saw yesterday. However, we are starting with plenty of sunshine, unlike how we started yesterday. So another great day in the forecast. That low humidity is sticking with us as well. We'll start with sunshine today. Then we'll see our clouds increase by the afternoon. Overall, it's just going to be a wonderful weather day. A little bit below average with those temperatures, and it's going to feel really nice and comfortable outside. Our storm potential will increase as we head into the weekend, and so will our humidity. Right now, 55 degrees in Indianapolis. That humidity is low. Those winds fairly light out of the northwest, about 3 miles per hour. That's why we are seeing that cooler air in place as well. So we had Hurricane Isaias moving out of the area. That's no longer impacting the U.S. And what that's doing is that's helped pull the jet stream a little further to the east, helping bring some cooler air in from the north, which is why we are seeing those cooler temperatures right now across the Midwest, and also helping us see those clear skies. So high pressure is now in control. That trough is moving up from the north, keeping us clear this morning, and then we are going to continue to see just a little bit of clouds trickling in by the afternoon. So the thing with that clear sky today is we are going to be able to heat up very quickly. So we'll be into the low 70s by the noon hour with that cloud coverage moving in by the later afternoon. That will stall us out with those temperatures climbing later today. And depending on when those clouds move in, we could see those temperatures climb anywhere from the mid to the upper 70s. If we see a little bit more sunshine today, then better chance we'll see those temperatures in those upper 70s. But right now, expecting right around 77 degrees for our high today. Those winds going to stay light, increasing clouds. Going to be just a very nice, comfortable day on tap. And as we head into the next couple days, that low humidity is going to stick with us today and much much of tomorrow into most of Friday before we start to see that humidity build back into the forecast for the weekend. So Saturday, it's going to be a more humid day, but we are going to see sunny skies. It's going to be a nice day, more like August should feel. And then by Saturday afternoon and evening, we'll start to see those chances of showers and storms move in. Best chance of showers and storms will come in on Sunday into Monday and Tuesday. But today, get outside, below normal temperatures, 77 for our high. A little cool to start with those temperatures in the 50s. We'll see those clouds come in this afternoon, but plenty of sunshine to start, plenty of sunshine tomorrow into Friday and Saturday. Storms don't move in till Sunday.
All right. Thank you so much. Let's take a look at traffic as you're heading out on the roads. This is I-70 of you near Mount Comfort Road, where we do have an update on construction. You can see those orange barrels out there this morning. We do have some construction in the westbound lanes, and the westbound ramp of I-70 closed right now at the Mount Comfort exit, so keep that in mind. We also have eastbound ramp closed at the Greenfield exit out there on I-70. So as you're traveling east or west on I-70, just keep that in mind. You may run into some construction this morning, part of ongoing work through that area. We'll continue to keep you updated, but that may cause you to reroute this morning. Just be flexible and maybe give yourself a little bit of extra time. Raphael?
So, Lauren, as you know, there's a lot of controversy surrounding the social media app known as TikTok. The latest, kids are now claiming that the app may be stealing their personal information. Over the last year, dozens of parents have sued on behalf of their children who are minors. Now those have merged into one big class action lawsuit. It says that TikTok has allegedly been collecting data such as facial characteristics, locations, close contacts as well, and then sending all of that information to servers in China. Lawyers are now claiming for and calling for a suit to expand nationwide, and that would impact tens of millions of American users.
Well, Raphael, a young boy up in Boone County was given a big surprise from his local law enforcement. Just ahead this morning, a special honor he now holds as part of the sheriff's office. It's 5:52. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. A 10-year-old is now officially a member of the Boone County Sheriff's Office. Meet Caleb Anderson. He's battling an autoimmune disease and has a love for law enforcement. He says he hopes to be a canine handler when he grows up. In a special ceremony, Sheriff Mike Nielsen surprised Caleb by swearing him in as a special deputy. Caleb also got to meet some of the canine deputies and was given his own uniform and tactical boots. So say good morning, everyone, and all the best to honorary special deputy Caleb Anderson. He's on the force and on the job. Way to go.
Cool. Love that. Well, I also love the forecast today.
Yeah, you know what? It's going to be a good one. We're starting a little cool this morning. Temperatures in the 50s across the area, and that's due to those clear skies and that cooler air that's filtered in from the north. By 8 a.m., we're going to be right around 57 degrees. So we are going to warm up quickly by the noon hour, expecting to be right around the low 70s. Highs today will reach the mid to upper 70s. We are going to start with plenty of sunshine, and then we'll see a little bit more cloud coverage build in this afternoon. Staying warmer as we head towards the weekend. More humidity expected this weekend as well. I'll have those details in just a little bit. You're watching Good Morning Indiana. We'll be right back.